Avasara Bhante, we got 9 reports today. Report number 1, Most Venerable Bhante. Sitting meditations, primary object, breath at nostrils. When I sit, I think for myself that I am seated. Then the breath appears. After some time, it disappears. Then, in some sittings, I feel certain sensations and qualities of the elements, mainly earth and air elements. In some sittings, I see bright light, mainly blue. At this moment, the feeling is that body has integrated with the environment, but there is perception that there is a something. What I do at that moment is, I just observe whatever comes. Initially, the inner voice is there, trying to tell me that without it, I will not be able to remember anything. But I understand that I don't have to remember anything. So I let go that. Not easy sometimes. Then I just try to be. May I request the Venerable Sir to provide recommendations to improve the practice with respect and metta.
So the progress is good. You can see simply different phases of the practice. Maybe initially the breath is available. After a while it disappears. Certain other things come. Sometimes light appears. Sometimes qualities of the elements appear. Right? So all these things come and go. It's like going through different phases. So what can you do? You can simply go with the flow. Whatever comes, simply welcome it and continue your practice. That's the way. And when you do it, when you practice repetitively, it becomes much easier to simply accept whatever the experience that comes. And it becomes much easier to let go of remembering or thinking. And you simply be with whatever the phases that pass through. You simply go with the flow, and that becomes your meditation. Not only in a sitting session, but even in a walking session, simply going with the flow. Especially in the daily life, you can see most of the time the world or the life, it doesn't need our involvement. Things arise on their own and things disappear on their own. Simply going with the flow would be the idea. Not only to the sitting, even to the daily life. Simply see certain situations, certain problems. You don't have to be so swift to reply. Let the questions be for a while. It's a question today, maybe by tomorrow it won't be there. Right? So we are usually in a rush. That's how the defilements work. It takes you by surprise. You have to react. All those things come. But if you know the correct practice, no matter whatever the problems that you face, you can gently navigate it. We are not in a rush. We are not going to answer them. We acknowledge the problem. But we tell, wait, I'll let you know. Right? There is no hurry. Hence, develop the ability to live with these difficulties, problems. Going with the flow means that when problems come, we are not in a rush to solve them. We'll let a day pass. Maybe by tomorrow it won't be there. Maybe by few days you will see a much bigger picture. Right? So it becomes a much better solution, or you can find a better solution since you see the bigger picture. Right? So that way, going with the flow, you can practice in your sitting as well as in your daily life. Try to see. By next retreat, you have 1 month. Right? During this time, you can see how you can go with the flow in your daily life, and whether it is reducing your stress friction or whether it is increasing your stress friction. You can see for yourself.
Report number 2. Bhante, just to understand clearly, correct me if I am wrong. In the beginning of walking meditation, we contemplate as right leg, left leg. Same way in the sitting meditation, we contemplate as inhale, exhale. So, by contemplation, are we not feeding our self-talk or constant thoughts? Also, not to drain our energy with thoughts. Thank you.
Usually labeling, it helps with the thoughts. But you have to understand labeling, it's another thought kind of a thing, in a chatter, right? You say left, right, left. That way you try to maintain your attention with the object. Then again inhale and exhale. You label them. That helps for you to retain your attention. Right? So in a way, for a beginner, you can use it. You can use it to get rid of the thoughts. You can use it to direct your attention towards the object. By labeling, we direct our attention towards it. Right? So initial phase, I would recommend for you to use it. If it helps, you can use it. But when you mature into the practice, you realize something else. You realize that, let's say in a walking session, you say left, right? While saying left, you are probably putting the right feet. Right? When right feet is touching, you are saying left. So the labeling got carried away. Right? So those things happen. Sometimes you are labeling, but your attention is somewhere else, thinking a thought, and the walking process also happens. So you can see many layers at once. Right? So when you mature into the practice, most people understand or lose the interest of labeling because they see, although the labeling is there, it becomes another kind of a distraction. Your attention is not really there, but the labeling goes. Right? When that happens, it is continually, it is automatically coming. Left, right, it says, but the body moves not in sync. Right? So when you see those things, probably it's time to let go of the labeling as well. By letting go of the labeling, you can simply observe the details of the object. And when you observe the details, let's say which parts of your feet is touching the ground, the texture, temperature of the ground, when you observe those details, you are sure that your attention is there. Labeling might deceive you. Later into the practice, you realize labeling might deceive me. Right? So that's something to experience and learn. But for the initial phases, you can use it if it helps. And by labeling, you can, in a way, control thoughts, or in a way, direct your attention towards the object.
Report number 3. Most Venerable Bhante. When I do metta meditation, a golden glow goes from me to who I think about, like parents, teachers, people whom I don't like, the world. But then, in the middle of it, everything gets dark and something rips me apart into nothingness. I get scared when I get ripped apart in it, as I can slightly feel nails digging into my skin. What can I do to stop getting scared and coming out of meditation? Thank you.
Now, this, you have experienced it, right? Now you know something like this happened. Right? Now you are better prepared for this experience. And these things are natural, you get scared, you open your eyes, you get away from the meditation. All those things happen. But what we would recommend is doing it for many times and preparing yourself much better. When you go through a certain experience for the first time, it takes you by surprise. But when you do it for the second time, when you go through it for the second time, it's not so much of a surprise. And when you go through it for many times, you realize you are able to navigate the situation much better. That's the very idea. So first day you will fail, second day you might fail, but when you continue for a long period, you realize you are able to go through that experience without running away from it. That ability will come through the experience. Don't try to do it in a day. Instead, continue your practice and little by little you will be able to navigate it much better.
Report number 4. Theruvan Saranai Swami Mahansa. Number 1. On most occasions, within a few minutes of sitting, I don't detect the breath as such, but rather an imprint of the breath, and that too not in the nostril as such, but maybe in the nose area or face. 2. I am unsure if this is accurate. While writing this report, I felt that this breath imprint can be felt at my heart space. Can this happen? In these instances, where should I keep my primary focus? Thank you.
Right, so when you observe the breath, you can see different shapes, forms of the breathing. Buddha says there are like 11 shapes and forms, right? But when we say 11, people go counting. Okay, I think 1, 2, 3, that way you do. That's not the way. Sometimes it comes naturally in the meditation. For example, this one, right? This is breath showing its shapes and forms, right? So when it happens, when it comes naturally, you observe. You don't go hunting for 11 different types. That's not the way. Instead, it comes to you naturally. And when that happens, you get confused. Sometimes you question, how could it be? I feel the breath outside my body, in the whole. How could that happen? Those type of doubts, questions appear. Similar to the doubts and questions in this report. So that's okay. First you doubt, first you question. But when you do repetitive practice, you realize it's the perception that's changing. Perception of your breath is changing, and that's why it's showing different shapes and shapes. Right? So simply go through those experiences. Whatever you feel as the breath, you can keep your attention there. The imprint of the breath. You don't feel it so prominent, but it's there. So simply anchor your attention towards that. And maybe tomorrow it will show a different shade or form. When that happens, simply go with that experience. That way, you have to go through many experiences when you are doing this. It's not going to be over within a day or two. Instead, simply gradually practicing, and naturally these experiences appear. And when that appears, you simply welcome it and go through. Next day you expect that experience, but it won't come. Right? It's not a target. You can't hunt for them. They will come naturally. When they come naturally, you accept them. They last for a while, they disappear. Again and again, this process happens. That's how you can go through all those different forms and shapes of the breath. You can't hunt them down. You can't chase after them. Instead, let them come naturally and go through that experience. So this one, you can be happy that you are seeing a different form or a shape of the breath. Go through that experience without doubting. Have the observation, and it will be a one-of-a-kind, unique meditation experience.
Report number 5. Theruvan Saranai. The most venerable Bhante. Sit down meditation, first session today. Primary object breath. I have been meditating for a while. Experience today. From the beginning, the breathing in and out was feeble, feeling very faint. Ends of the breathing in and out were more pronounced. After a few minutes, flow of air became a flux of vibratory movements. Could not identify breathing in or out. It was a flux of fine movements. After a few minutes, the vibratory movements disappeared, and it was a state of fully awareness. While in that state, outside sounds, feeling of wind, and occasional thoughts were noted, did not carry away with them. Few times vibratory movements occurred, now and then for a short time. Tingling sensation on the whole body was noted several occasions, especially towards the end of the session. Greatly appreciate your valuable advice. May the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem be with you always.
Yeah, so that's a good experience. Now, let's say initially you feel the breathing. After a while you start to feel the vibration. Right? So some people say the breath has disappeared and now I feel only a vibration. But you have to understand, it's the breath that's changing its shapes and form. Breath becomes a vibration. It breaks down into pieces and it becomes a vibration. So when that happens, you have to understand this is simply the process. When vibration comes, that would be your primary object. Allow those thoughts, sounds, other memories to come. But among all those things, you know where to anchor your attention. That's the very idea. So this experience is good. You are feeling all these vibrations and things like that. When you go through your practice more and more, you realize these things become much more prominent. Probably even when you sit, in the beginning of the session, a vibration appears. And your whole meditation would be on that primary object. The vibration, how it is changing, the frequency is changing, all those observations will be there. And simply you have to continue. When you continue, it will take you towards a different phase. After some time, it will change into something else. So all those experiences, whatever comes in the sitting session, we have to welcome. Right? There is no bad session per se. Whatever comes in the sitting session, that's the best meditation. Sometimes it's full of thoughts. So that's your meditation for today. Sometimes body aches, pains, difficulties in the posture. So that's your meditation for today. Sometimes so calm, peaceful, you feel like everything is still. So that's your meditation for today. Whatever comes in the session, you have to welcome it. And there is no bad session per se. Only our doubts, only our questions will judge these things. But when you are a mature practitioner, you realize, I don't have to judge anything. I simply go through whatever the experience that comes. And that's my today's meditation session.
Sorry, Bhante, I've done a mistake. There are 10 reports altogether. Report number 6. I have been doing 20 minutes of sitting each morning. I do experience a degree of peace and calm in my life, and others notice it too. Nirvana is not a concept I can grasp, but I like to develop a greater degree of peacefulness. How do I develop my practice further? Should I add another session or try to sit for longer?
Yeah, you can try those. Try add another session or try to sit for longer. That's up to you. But what I would recommend is, can you, now daily you are doing 20 minutes now. Can you do this for 40 years? Right? 40 years sounds so big, huge. Right? But what happens is, when you try to attain Nibbana, it's more like a journey instead of a destination. Right? This is the very journey. It's like climbing Adam's Peak. Right? You come to the top, you see the sun rising, you worship, and you think you are there. But think about the journey throughout the night. You have been traveling, exhausted, all the insects, mosquitoes biting, and probably cold, affected by the cold, all those things are there. That very journey is the travel. That's how we go and worship Adam's Peak. Right? So that very idea is true even for the practice. This very journey is the Nibbana. And when you go through that, you realize, okay, I become more and more peaceful. Even my family members notice it. It's a silent sermon. Even they feel that you are a changed person. Right? So consider that very journey as Nibbana. It's not a destination, it's the journey. Most people, they get it wrong. They think that it's a destination. That's the issue. Right? This very journey, this very practice, you are on the path. You are moving forward. What you have to do? Simply do your daily practice. Don't plan too much. Don't think about it too much. Just simply do your sitting. Simply face daily encounters and continue for 40 years. Too much, no? When I say 40,
We don't have 40 years.
Well, so that's the very idea, right? As long as you live, you just simply continue. Even after acquiring Buddhahood, he has continued with his meditation. When you refer to those sutras, sometimes for many hours, he's doing the walking meditation at night. Then comes sitting meditation. So all those details are given. He has been meditating throughout his life. Even 80 years old, he has been meditating. So that's the very idea. It's a journey. It's a journey. Most of us, we think it as a destination. Exhausted, tired, going through this journey is the very Vipassana. So even a beginner, the very first retreat, they too are on the path. Right? All the troubles, difficulties are there. Thoughts come and bother them. They can't sit for even 15 minutes. But that very journey, that very struggle is Vipassana. Right? Everybody has to go through that phase. Initial phase is difficult. Right? You feel like, imprisoned when you are in a retreat center. But that experience, going through that's the very path. Right? So, as long as you live, simply continue. Don't doubt, don't question, don't chase after things. Simply be. Live the day fullest, to the fullest. Right? That Winnie the Pooh is like a Zen master. He's asking, what day is today? Right? What day is it? That's the question. What day is it? Then his friend is saying, it's today. That's the answer given. Then Winnie says, instead of questioning, Winnie says, oh, my favorite day. Today. Right? That's all. That's the very meditation. You think today is a bad day, tomorrow will be better. All those thoughts, doubts, questions come. Be like Winnie, simply accept my favorite day today. Right? Living in the moment. Living in the moment. And when you go through that journey for many years, many decades, you realize you become increasingly peaceful. Not only you, even your family members feel that. Even they too become peaceful because your vibration is changing. Right? You feel like they too are also meditating. Even the world is meditating. Not only me, my family members are also meditating. No, it's the change within. You feel less friction even with the family members. You feel like they too have changed. No, it's your change that you reflect on them. You feel like the world becomes a less friction kind of a place. The world is also meditating, it feels like. But actually what happens is the inner change. Internally when you change, you feel even the outside people are changing. Even the world is changing. That's the very idea. So I hope you can continue for 40 years.
Report number 7. Pinvat Swami Mahansa. During the Dhamma sermon, it was mentioned that what is required to practice by a yogi is to let go, forget the past happenings, but to recall those happenings if only necessary. With kindness to us, it is requested to elaborate as to how practically we can do this. It is the same with future as well. How best can we equip ourselves not to be anxious but to be prepared? Thero and Nissarana.
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, letting go. It's a popular idea, right? When somebody is suffering with a problem, when they are crying, when they are feeling so much pain, you would go to them and you would say, come on, this is not a problem, let go of it. Right? You would advise them. But can you really do it? The person who is experiencing that? Although you say from outside, let go, they are not able to do it. For them, it's a real problem. For them, the suffering is real. Right? So although you say let go, it's not easy to do. Then sometimes we make a mistake. We go and ask for forgiveness. And the other person might say that you are forgiven. Right? For the sake of answering you, they might say. But actually, can they forgive you like that? It's difficult. Right? Maybe they are angry inside while saying, okay, then I'll forgive you. But actually they have pent up anger inside. Right? So these are interesting topics to talk about. How to actually let go. It's not easy, letting go. How to forgive someone. It's not easy. Right? So what can you do? Letting go is a state that you have to reach. Right? That you letting go you can't achieve. It's a state that you have to reach. What you can do is create causes for that. In order for you to reach that state, you can create causes for that. How to create causes? Simply be mindful in the moment. Simply observing a breath, you are creating causes for letting go. Simply placing a step mindfully, you are creating causes for letting go. That's the very idea. You can't directly go and achieve letting go. That's not possible. What happens is, you create causes by being mindful. And as a result, you realize, one day, it hits you, okay, I'm letting go much easily now. Problems come, but maybe within a day, they are forgotten. Right? Earlier, it took probably a couple of weeks for you to forget such incidents. People do these things, you know they have made some mistake, but you can't recall what that means. Forgiveness is already granted. You can't recall the incident also, you can't be mad. Right? So that means what? The forgiveness is given. I remember a couple of years ago, I guess, somebody came to me and said, one day I did a mistake, very sorry. I know something happened, but I can't recall what happened. Right? This person is asking for forgiveness. So I said, okay, I anyway can't remember, so you are forgiven. Right? Can't be mad now, can't remember what happened. Right? That's the very idea. You can't say, forgive and forget. Forget comes first, forgiven is given. Right? That's the very idea. So letting go, you can't achieve that directly. What you can do is, by being mindful, these things naturally happen. It's like resilience of your mind increases. When that happens, problems come, but you are able to recover much faster. Right? Like a Weeble toy. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. That's what they say. Have you seen those Weeble toys? That's the toy that shows resistance, the quality of resistance. You throw it on the ground, it wobbles, but it won't fall down. This is some trick with the center of gravity. Right? So that type of a change will happen within you. You face so many problems, but you are able to let go of them much easy. It comes as a result of many months, many years of practice. That's the very idea. Otherwise, people say, let go. But the person who is facing the problem realizes it's not so easy to let go. Somebody else will tell, but you have to do it now. It's not easy. Right? When the problem is somebody else's, the answer is philosophical. Right? Letting go, all those quotes you will mention. But when the problem is yours, difficult. Right? All the suffering, those issues, all those things are here. Right? So that's why they say, as long as the problem is somebody else's, the answer is philosophical. Right? So letting go, try to achieve it by being mindful. Every day you get so many opportunities to be mindful. Forget about the formal meditation. Every day you are breathing, your body is continuously breathing. I remember one of the children's sessions we had at Nissarana. We gave them an activity to count the number of breaths happening within a day. Right? So they got into groups and they were sitting and they were observing number of breaths per minute. And they took few samples as well. Right? Then finally they calculated number of breaths for a day. And most of them, they came up with the number 23,000. 23,000 breaths per day. That was their calculation. And these children, they had an interesting observation as well. They were saying, one day when we observe the breathing becomes faster. So the actual number might be even lower, probably like 20,000, 21,000, somewhere around that. The breathing becomes faster when you observe. So every day, let's say 22,000 breaths happening in your body. Right? So at least catch few breaths every now and then. Seated in a vehicle, you can feel the breathing every now and then. Walking, probably like 8,000, 10,000 steps every day. So catch few steps while walking. Probably shoes, we are wearing shoes, still you can feel the pressure. Right? Many meals we are having every day. We drink so many stuff. Right? While doing those things, simply feel the taste, feel the chewing, feel the swallowing. Right? Little by little, this way we create causes. That's the very idea. Otherwise, if you leave the retreat and come next month, then it's not going to work. It's not easy that way. What you have to do is, you have to take this practice even to your daily life. You might be busy, you might be working, but still, you are living. No? As long as you are living, you can be mindful. That's the very meditation. And even after a long day, you get to your bed. While you fall asleep, you can simply be mindful. Don't try to force your attention on the breathing only. Then you won't be able to sleep. Some people, they complain, but I tried mindful sleeping, now I can't sleep. Why? Because they are forcing their attention towards the breath. When that happens, sleep won't come. Sleep is a natural thing, no? You can't force yourself into the sleep. Right? So your mind has to relax. How to relax your mind? Let it be. Let the thoughts come. Usually all the thoughts within the day, they start coming. Right? You feel the belly movement, probably the movement of your belly according to the breath. You hear the surrounding sound. Among all those things, you are simply there. If you simply be mindful like that, then even the sleep would be much more peaceful. No nightmares, proper sleep throughout night. Those advantages are there. I remember we did one of the sessions, HNB Towers. And it's a once a year Vesak program. And this time when we finished the session, somebody came and he said, Bande, from last program, I took one thing to my life. Every day when I fall asleep at night, I was mindful till I fall asleep. He took only that thing, but he kept practicing for the whole year. Right? So that's the very idea. Little by little, you have to develop your practice, create causes, and as a result, you experience, you feel that letting go comes naturally. That's the way.
Report number 8. Dear Bhante, could you please explain more about Silabbata Paramasa and the way to identify it during the meditation practices? Thero.
Right, let's say a beginner, when they accept precepts, right, sometimes they can't even walk, right? They feel like precepts might be shaken if I walk fast, right? So those things happen. You have to go through that process, right? So those are considered as Silabbata Paramatha. You accept precepts in order to support your practice, but the precepts become a burden for you, right? That happens. It's a tool. It's a tool for you to continue the practice. When you make a mistake, you don't have to worry about it and always think I made a mistake, I dropped this precept, something like that. All those things are Silabbata Parama. So you can, you make mistakes, but you realize it and you correct yourself. That's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. When somebody becomes an Arahant, there's no intention to protect precepts. He's already there. He doesn't have to do anything. Right? The precepts are already established. So he doesn't have to worry about breaking them. Right? So starting from taking it as a burden, or maybe breaking the precepts, and gradually moving towards that direction. So it takes time. Even, let's say, the practice, most people, they get used to certain weird patterns as the practice. So they too are considered as Silabbata Paramatha. But you can't catch all those things at once. You have to go through the process. You have to understand the difficulty. And by going through the process, continuing your meditation, one day you realize your own foolishness. Then you can let go a little. You can get rid of those weird patterns. Somebody was saying, I think their mother went to a retreat, right? So she was fine before the retreat, cooking within 1 hour early in the morning. But after the retreat, only cutting vegetables takes 1 hour. Cutting. So you have to slowly, mindfully, silently cut. So it takes probably like 2-3 hours to cook now, right? So what happens? In meditation, it becomes an obstacle, right? It becomes a burden to your life. No, this should make your life easier. That's the very idea of the practice. Life is already very hard. You are meditating to make it easier, not the other way around, right? So initially we have all those things, but gradually we realize our own foolishness and let go. So you can't really catch all the Silabbata Paramathas within a day or two. It takes many years for you to catch them. And some of them we even won't catch after years. So that's there. But gradually continue. And when you do that, little by little, you become much more peaceful. You let go of these unnecessary burdens. Even for the sake of the practice, you don't have to burden yourself like that. Initially, it feels like a burden, but with time you realize it is more about living, peacefully, living in the moment. And when that happens, your meditation and your life becomes much easier, less friction.
Since you spoke about the precepts on the Silabbata Paramatha, we get this question often. Most of the people don't want to come for the retreats because they observe 8 precepts, but they don't want to break the Kalalgoda, and they say they are having gastritis and all these. So how do we tackle it?
That's fine, let them come. And some people are accepting precepts, some people are not. That's fine, right? Some of them have the religious background, some of them they don't have it. That's fine. So what happens usually is that they see the others, they see the others, they correct themselves, little by little they get into the proper stream. That's the very idea. I remember even Nissarana, some people, they they have trouble with certain precepts. And one person, he was saying, one day at night, Bhante, I got woken up by some kind of a demonic kind of a possession. Right? And went to the counter, all the sugar, milk and everything mixed and consumed. Right? Not a demon. He himself, that's the demon, right? He's saying, this anger I can't bear, so next day he's coming and, doing a confession. Right? So all those things are part of the practice, right? So at least you come and stay for 3 days. That's the beginning, no? I remember one person never meditated. Right? Never meditated. But this one is a nature junkie. Whenever beautiful nature is there, come. Right? Interested. So I told them, Nissarana, you have the most beautiful nature. Right? So many trees, streams, monkeys, didn't tell about the leeches, only the good part, beautiful part. And this person, I didn't even think that he would come, but somehow came. No idea about the meditation, no idea about the precept. Now in Nissarana for 3 days. And probably like the very first night, spent the entire night sleepless. Right? The mind is so agitated. And getting this anger, can't sleep, not peaceful, all those past memories come, right? And, cursing towards me. Right? But somehow came, next day I met and said, all those complaints, Bhante, I can't say I am going, this is like hell, all those complaints, no nature, nothing. But somehow, after the discussion, I said, this is the very struggle everybody has to go through. You are going through your healing process, so all those past incidents, breakups, the dead ones, all those things come. So I said, if you go through it, then that's the healing process. If you don't go through it, one day you'll have to probably go to a mental hospital. Right? So what can you say? That's the reality. If you don't go through this healing process today, then some other option might be available. They say meditation or medication. Your choice. Right? So somehow after a lot of convincing, stayed for 3 days. 3 days. And now every 3 months coming and meditating. What was the hook? Nature. You should tell about the leeches, only the beautiful ones, good ones. That's how it is. Even others are witnessing, but they throughout the night cursing towards you, blaming you. So that's how the first night was spent. Right? So it's a nice journey. Whoever you have, if you have family, friends, tell them we have a beautiful place. They offer the meals freely. You can eat whatever the amount, right? And come, say, let's go and stay. Right? That way you somehow convince them and bring them. And when they spend few days, some of them get it. Others will curse and leave. Right? That's how it is. So, as long as you are here doing the practice, we are happy. Sometimes we are not able to follow the exact rules, but that's okay. We have a certain flexibility towards it. We let you spend your time and correct yourself. Like, if you are perfect, then you don't have to go through this, right? That's the very idea. Even Nissarana, I think a couple of retreats ago, 2 boys. One guy punched the other one. 1 a.m. at the night. Then the entire building was shouting, something like this has never happened in the history, they are saying. So banish this person, then send him off. That was the idea. But the retreat organizer is coming one day. Let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance. That's the very struggle everybody is going through. Guy, fellow is surely having some family problem, right? Pent up anger, and somebody else came and blamed him for something. Punch. Punch. So the other fellow, he is getting some historical karma, got punched for telling tongues. Right? But the real anger, real problem is at home. Maybe like a family problem. Pent up anger and aggression. Right? So all those issues are the real problem. That's the very problem. Right? The meditator, the yogi, it's like a wound in them. So you have to go through that struggle, and when you go through it, that's the very healing process. So you can continue little by little, and I'm sure you will adjust yourself with time. And even the food for a meditator, most of our thoughts, they consume the energy. So many thoughts, not thinking thoughts all the time. That's the energy consumption. When you meditate, you realize you don't need so much intake. You don't need so much energy because your energy loss is reducing. Thinking thoughts, that's the main energy consumption. Right? So, little by little, you are able to sustain your body with little food. And that process takes time. So you can go through it and you can figure out your own balance.
Report number 9. Most Venerable Bhante, walking meditation. I started walking and observed the feeling of food. After some time, thoughts appeared. When I see the thought, I focus to the food. I felt tightness of the foot. Next, I observed weight is changing when I walk. After some time, one of my legs bent and I felt that I was walking with a broken leg. Everything happened automatically. I didn't change anything. I felt sleepy. My walking became slower than previously. When I finished my walking, I felt my body is not rigid at all and very, very soft-like. Sitting meditation. I sat down and observed what I feel. I heard sounds and felt the body sensations from time to time. I observed different sensations. After some time, bodily pain appeared. It started and spreaded. My mind jumped to pain and thoughts. When it happened, I saw that brighter background was there. When thought appeared, I observed it as a thought. Then thoughts became shorter. When I observed lesser thoughts or no thoughts, my face muscles were relaxed and a smile appeared. Again I felt some bodily pain. Then I changed the posture. Again same thing happened as previously. I observed plan and thoughts when I observed pain and thoughts when it appeared. Slowly I focused to the thoughts and it was reduced. Later I was identifying the thoughts when it comes. Thero and Nissarana.
Yeah, so that's good. Even in the walking, sitting, you can feel that your body is relaxing. Sometimes it feels like it is deformed, you are a cripple, or you can't maintain the sitting posture. But all those things happen, and the body becomes lighter and lighter. Right? For a practitioner, when you practice for some time, not within a day I am saying, when you practice for some time, you feel that your body is lighter. That experience you feel. Earlier, so much heaviness in your body. What's the reason? That's the mental grip. But when you meditate, when you let go of that grip, you realize your body becomes lighter. That process is happening. How to facilitate it? Just allow the process to continue. Sometimes in the sitting posture, some people they can't maintain the upright sitting posture. The posture changes little by little by it is changing, and sometimes forehead touching on the mat. That happens. That happens. No matter how many adjustments you make, the body goes to that position. So let it be. You are seated, your forehead on the ground, just stay. Sometimes phlegm comes, tears appear, right? All those things are happening, right? If you simply have to be with it. Most people don't like, I'm in the hall, others are watching, right? I have to maintain my posture. All those thoughts, doubts come. But you have to let go of them. That is the very meditation. And with time you realize, you feel so much relaxed after such a session. Right? Even others, their doubt might increase. That's something else. They are trying to adjust your posture. They try to see whether the breathing is still there. All those things are there. But for you, it doesn't matter. You are not trying to maintain your personality here. We try to let go of it. Right? We need a life without maintenance. That's what we need. And this is a good place to find it. And there's this analogy of a drunken man. In one of the Zen stories, they are saying that a drunken man falling from a moving cart. And they are saying that man won't get injured as much compared to a normal one. Right? Why? When you fall, so much mental grip. Drunken man doesn't know whether on the cart, on the floor, no idea. Right? So it's not an encouragement towards alcoholism. Instead, the idea is that mental grip, that will create the most damage. When something happens, your body is like this. Right? That mental grip is there. I'm dying, something happened to me, an accident, that way. But when you have that lightness in your body, minimum damages. Right? So meditators, they can feel it. Little by little, they become lighter in the body and mind. Mind becomes lighter, body becomes lighter, and they become more flexible. They can easily navigate the gravity. Right? So all those changes are happening. What you have to do is simply continue.
Last one, report number 10, Venerable Bhante. Yesterday in the report I mentioned that I do a 1 hour sitting daily. Most often the breath calms down, no thoughts, and I experience a calm state of mind. Referring to the sermon yesterday on the two ends of feeling and the middle with no dukkha or sukha, I am wondering whether this calm state is equal to the middle state you explained in the sermon. 1. Can I call the 3 stages as sukha, dukkha and adukkama sukha? 2. If I am in the middle state, is there anything else I should do to let go of that state too, or just wait till I am pushed to a better on its own? Much merit to you, Bhante, for sharing your wisdom, insight and guidance during the 3 days of the retreat. May all your Dhamma desires be fulfilled in this life itself.
Yeah, so we can say that's the middle. Whatever that you experience in your meditation, the calmness, the stillness, you can call it as the middle. Letting go of the middle is somewhat difficult to understand. It's not intentional, I'm sure. But certain things appear. Let's say your problems, you get disturbed by somebody else. When you do the walking meditation, somebody comes and disturbs you. Right? All those incidents will give you an opportunity to let go of the middle as well. Troubles come, but you are not shaken. That's the very idea. Even in the sitting session, that period of calmness will disappear towards the end. The posture, the pain, aches, those things start to come. Right? So when those things appear, it's a chance for you to move forward. Right? That's the very idea. So naturally we get trouble. Naturally we feel family problems. Naturally other people come and bother us. So all those opportunities, you have a chance to let go of the middle. Whenever you feel friction, that's an opportunity for you to meditate. Observe, why do you feel so much friction? Why do you feel so irritated? That very observation allows you to go through this difficult change, difficult path, right? So it takes time, it comes naturally. What you have to do is simply have the meditating attitude. Not only in a walking session, sitting session, but as long as you are living, you are meditating. Right? If you have that attitude, then when you feel friction, you have an opportunity to meditate. Maybe sometimes you take a risk and see. Right? That type of things also you can do. Go to a disturbing environment and see whether your mind gets disturbed. Right? Those type of things you can do. Even in meditation, sometimes we experiment. We take a risk and do. We take certain incidents and see whether it will create troubles in our mind. For example, you are calm and you are sleepy. Right? Take one of the lustful memories and see what happens. Right? Suddenly you are energized. All those memories start flowing. Right? So it feels like unnecessary burden. Why take a risk? But when you meditation practice, sometimes you can experiment like that. Right? If lust is there, the fire will appear. Right? That means still it is flammable. But when you do it for a while, you realize now the lust comes. Sometimes the fire appears, but it won't last longer. Right? Those type of experiments you can try in your practice. You can go to troubling environments, don't take risks, and then simply go to a noisy environment and see whether you are peaceful. Right? When you are facing a family problems you don't have to ask for them, no, they will come naturally. When you are facing problems, see whether you are feeling so much friction. When the defilements appear like that, see whether they are occupying your mind for a long time. Initially it occupies, but little by little you realize they too have an end. Right? Again you are back to the calmness, again you are back to the meditation. So that way it's all about experimenting and figuring out this difficult balance. But when you do it for a while, you figure it out. You realize you are not, you are letting go of the middle as well, and that's where the real peace lies. That's all, no?